stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
one nation,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Awesome. Roll call, Sylvia?
Mayor Mays,
Here?
Council President Rosner,
Here.
Councilor Garland,
Here.
Councilor
Sylvia, we have approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Sorry. Thank you, Taylor. Opposed? Hearing none, it's approved. Moving on to the shorter consent agenda than last meeting, but still lengthy. Item A is approval of the June 21, 2022 City Council meeting minutes. Item B is Resolution 2022-040, authorizing city manager to enter into a contract for a certified arborist and tree services. Item C is Resolution 2022-041, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Sherwood Urban Renewal Agency for the Sherwood Broadband Project. Item D is Resolution 2022-042, certifying the provision of certain municipal services in order to qualify the city to receive state revenues. Item E is Resolution 2022-043, reappointing Kaz Thompson to the Sherwood Senior Advisory Board. Item F is Resolution 2022-040, reappointing Donna Nevedal to the Sherwood Senior Advisory Board. Item G is Resolution 2022-045, reappointing Eugene Stewart to the Sherwood Senior Advisory Board. Item H is Resolution 2022-046, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Willamette Water Supply System Commission for system interconnection. Item I is Resolution 2022-047, authorizing granting easements to the Willamette Water Supply System Commission. Item J is Resolution 2022-048, approving the city investment policy and authorizing investments. And the last item on the consent agenda is Item K, Resolution 2022-049, transferring budget expenditure appropriations between categories for fiscal year 2021-2022.
Move consent. Second.
Moved and second. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, council. Citizen comments. Anyone in the audience or remotely like to give citizen comments today? I see no one raising their hand in the audience today and checking, and there is no one remote that would like to make citizen comments. So we'll move on to public hearing. We have 3 items under public hearing today. Sylvia? Is any of these? No, they're all resolutions. So, would it help if I had turned to page 3?
Mayor Mays, do you want me to read the statement?
That'd be great.
Thank you. The Sherwood City Council will hold a public hearing this evening to receive testimony on 3 agenda items. Resolution 2022-050, declaring the city of Sherwood's election to receive state shared revenues. Resolution 2022-051, adopting a schedule of fees as authorized by the city's zoning and community development code, establishing fees for miscellaneous city services and establishing an effective date. Resolution 2022-052, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 budget of the city of Sherwood, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes, and authorizing the city manager to take such action necessary to carry out the adopted budget. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present a staff report. Questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the public hearing. No other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff. Questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by council discussion. If you wish to speak, please fill out the request to speak form and submit it to the city recorder prior to the time the public hearing is open for testimony. The mayor will recognize people who wish to speak, and any comments must be addressed through the mayor. When you come forward, please state your name and place of residence for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia. Hey, David, so item A, Resolution 2022-050, declaring the city's election receives state shared revenues.
Yes, they share certain revenue with municipalities that choose to accept it. The only qualifications to receive these funds are to hold a public hearing on the use of the funds and have levied a property tax in the preceding year. Of course, the city did levy property taxes this past year. It also held one public hearing on June 1st during the Budget Committee meetings, and this is the second required public hearing currently occurring right now. So I don't really have anything new to add from what I shared at the Budget Committee meetings, and so staff respectfully recommends City Council adoption of this resolution. And with that, I'll open it up to questions from City Council.
Thanks, David. Seeing none, anyone remotely wanting to? Seeing no, the public hearing portion of this resolution is closed. Questions for David on this resolution? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-050, declaring the city of Sherwood's election to receive state shared revenues. Second.
Moved in second. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor of approving Resolution 2022-050, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, David. The second resolution, 2022-051. David?
Yeah, so the second resolution deals just every spring when departments develop their budgets, the city of Sherwood has annually reviewed all fees and updated if necessary. The proposed fees, they fall into three categories. 2% increase as previously approved in Resolution 2017-008, and that's the maximum amount allowed, even though the CPI index is 5.1%. 4.49% increase is previously approved in Resolution 2018-049 for SDC and TDT fees. And then there's various miscellaneous other new fees and minor changes. I'm not going to go through every one of those changes, but I've asked department heads to be here tonight and be available to answer any questions that you folks may have. But just to kind of name a few, the Senior Center, they added a program fee for non-resident membership fee. The Parks and Recreation section, we removed the language and the fees associated with the school district fields because of the IGA termination. And then, for example, in engineering, we added some language in there about a reimbursement district that we'll be, bringing forth to council and talking about here over the summer. So with that, I respectfully recommend City Council adopt this resolution, and either myself or senior leadership is here to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Any comment from citizens in the audience today on this proposed resolution? Seeing no one raising their hands, and remotely there is no one requesting to make comment, we'll close the public hearing on Resolution 2022-051. Any discussion or questions by council of David or staff? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Sure. I move we accept Resolution 2022-051, adopting a schedule of fees as authorized by the City's Zoning and Community Development Code, establishing fees for miscellaneous city services and establishing an effective date.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All in favor of approving Resolution 2022-051, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, David. And our last resolution for this meeting was Resolution 2022-052. David?
Thank you, Mayor. This last resolution deals with the city budget. On May 31st and June 1st, the Sherwood Budget Committee received the budget message, reviewed the proposed budget, and heard public comment. Then on June 13th, 2022, the Budget Committee approved the proposed budget. Notice of the approved budget has been published in accordance with local budget law. The final steps of the budget process is for City Council to hold this public hearing per Oregon Revised Statute and then adopt the fiscal year 22-23 budget. If you would have noticed in your packet, I did make that one change that was recommended from through the Budget Committee. And then staff respectfully recommends City Council adoption of the approved budget. With that, I'll open it up for any questions you may have of me.
Thank you, David. Any citizen want to give testimony on the proposed budget in the audience? I see no one raising their hand, and there's no one remotely wanting to give testimony, so we'll close the public hearing on Resolution 2020-052. Any questions of staff on the proposed budget?
By the one change by budget, the Budget Committee, you meant that additional 5-year forecast, that conservative forecast?
Yes, I added that right to the end of the Keith's budget
Yep,
message.
I see that.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you for doing that.
I move Resolution 2022-052, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 budget of the City of Sherwood, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes, and authorizing the city manager to take such action necessary to carry out the adopted budget.
Second.
Thank you, Renee and Kim. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving Resolution 2022-052, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Moving on, and as folks, I'm sure likely know, the Citizen Budget Committee is made up of half city council and half members of the community. I want to thank the citizen members of our Budget Committee for their hard work in doing careful review and evaluation of the proposed budget and making the recommendation to council. City Manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I'd like to thank the Budget Committee for the citizens for their hard work and being part of this process. I want to thank the staff and senior leadership team for their hard work and diligence. And with that, I will close and be happy to answer any questions.
Keith or his team in this special meeting? Seeing none, we'll move on to council announcements. Anyone want to do any special announcements on a special meeting?
Nothing special from me.
Let's get on to the next special meeting.
All right, it's on the agenda, it's an approved agenda, I gotta call it and say, it is what it is, per council rules.
We appreciate you following the rules, Mayor.
So with that, we are going to adjourn to the URA Board of Directors meeting. And I'm gonna rely on Tim if he pulls this up. Do we need to do anything different to be able to switch right into it, Brad and Keith? I think the answer is no. Awesome.
Yeah, just have to convene as the URA.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan. So we are going to call to order our special URA board meeting for today, Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. Roll call, Sylvia?
Chair Mays,
Here?
Vice Chair Rosner,
Here.
Member Garland,
Here.
Board Member Browse,
Here.
Board Member Young,
Here.
Board Member Scott is absent, Board Member Giles.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have a consent agenda, 3 items today. Item A is approval of the May 17th, 2022 URA board meeting minutes. Item B is URA Resolution 2022-004, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Sherwood for the Sherwood Broadband Project. And last is item C, URA Resolution 2022-005, transferring budget expenditure appropriations between categories for fiscal year 2021-22.
Move consent.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, Renee and Kim. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of approving the consent as presented, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, board. Public hearings, Sylvia?
The Sherwood Urban Renewal Agency Board of Directors will hold public hearings this evening to receive testimony on URA Resolution 2022-006, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 budget of the City of Sherwood's original Urban Renewal Agency, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes, and authorizing the agency manager to take such action necessary to carry out the adopted budget, and URA Resolution 2022-007, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 budget of the City of Sherwood's 2021 Urban Renewal Agency, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes, and authorizing the agency manager to take such action necessary to carry out the adopted budget. The public hearings this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present a staff report. Questions, if any, by the board for staff. We will then receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing, and testimony will be limited to 4 minutes. We will then close the public hearing. No other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff. Questions, if any, by the board. Discussion by the board will follow. If you wish to speak, please fill out a request to speak form and submit it to the agency recorder prior to the time the public hearing is open for testimony. The chair will recognize people who wish to speak, and any comments must be addressed through the chair. When you come forward, please state your name and place of residence for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia. David, item A, URA Resolution 2022-006.
Board. This resolution is for the original URA. On June 1st, 2022, the URA Budget Committee received the budget message, heard public comment, if any, and on June 13th, 2022, approved the proposed budget. The approved fiscal year 22-23 budget consists of personnel services, allocated overhead, and material and service expenses needed to continue to administer the URA in preparation for its closure this upcoming fiscal year. Debt service payments account for 94% of the proposed expenditures, and just the final step of this is for the URA board to hold a public hearing and then adopt the fiscal year 22-23 budget. And with that, I will open it up to any comments that you folks may have.
Awesome. Thank you, David. In the audience, want to give citizen comment on the proposed budget for this resolution? Seeing no one raising their hands remotely, there is no one wanting to give testimony as well, so we will close the public hearing portion on URA Resolution 2022-006. Questions for David from the board? Is there a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve URA Resolution 2022-006, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 budget of the City of Sherwood original Urban Renewal Agency, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes, and authorizing the agency manager to take such action necessary to carry out the adopted budget.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, Kim and Renee. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving URA Resolution 2022-006, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Thank you, David. The second item, Resolution 2022-007. David?
Yes, so this is in regards to our newer URA, the 2021 URA. On June 1st, 2022, the URA Budget Committee received the budget message, heard public comment, if any, and on June 13th, 2022, approved the proposed budget. The approved fiscal year 22-23 operations fund budget consists of personnel services, allocated overhead, and materials and service expenses needed to administer the URA. Debt service payments account for 92% of the proposed expenditures. The approved fiscal year 22-23 capital projects fund budget primarily includes appropriations for design and construction of Festival Plaza, portions of Sherwood Broadband, a high-arched pedestrian bridge across Highway 99, Ice Age Drive, and a new public works facility. Funding for these projects will come from tax increment revenue and loans. And again, the final steps of the budget process is for the URA board to hold the public hearing and then adopt the fiscal year 22-23 budget.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Questions from the audience or online that would like to give public comment on this? No one is raising their hand in person, no one remotely, so we will close the public hearing on URA Resolution 2022-007. Discussion or questions for staff or discussion from the board on this resolution? Seeing none,
Well,
yes?
I just want to do, just for the public, which
Yep.
may not be watching now, but it's recorded, so they may be watching in the future. When we use fancy terms like, what was it, TIF increment revenue and et cetera, the bottom line for our community is we're not raising property taxes or taxes to do these projects. We get incremental tax revenue by the way we set up the URA with our partner agencies, and the debt that we're incurring to do these projects will be paid off by those revenues. So you won't see an impact to your property tax statement. I just want to make sure that's clear for anybody listening.
That's correct, and I'll make sure to add that too, so, because I know you bring that up and let the folks know at home.
Yeah, well, you never know who's listening or who hasn't listened before. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start off the district in a big way with lots of exciting projects that people will, be great to see. So, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve URA Resolution 2022-007, adopting the fiscal year 2022-23 budget of the City of Sherwood 2021 Urban Renewal Agency, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes, and authorizing the agency manager to take such action necessary to carry out the adopted budget.
Second.
Thank you, Kim and Renee. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving URA Resolution 2022-007, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, board. Thank you, David. That is the last item on this agenda, so we will adjourn the urban renewal board meeting and reconvene in a few minutes in the city council exec session.